2 games.
Only.
No, I wasn't so mad.
All right, I call this board meeting to order. All board members are present. We have Emily here as well. Emily House, thank you for joining us. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Go on, second. Motion by Lynn, second by Jennifer. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The agenda is approved. The board organizational items is item 4. This is obviously our executive meeting or our organizational meeting at the beginning of the year, and so that's where the order of business will focus, and we will begin with the elections of the officer, so item A1, and we will begin with the election of the board chair. So nominations are now in order for the office of chair. Are there nominations for the chair position? I'll start. I'd like to nominate Jason. This has been really the joy, or like a great joy for me to be the chair. I think it's really healthy to have transition, and in having that belief, I think Jason would do a great job, and I would encourage any of you guys to do the position as well someday in the future. It really is a rewarding part of this responsibility. So, but I would like to nominate Jason.
Do we need a second?
Not in nominations.
Oh, okay.
So are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations?
Make a motion to close nominations and unanimously elect Jason as the chair.
Okay, do I have to write all that down? Or do I just put that Kara nominated Jason?
And that
And
was
then
asked
whether
for
or not
3
it was-
times. Yeah,
okay.
Yep.
So then if there are no further nominations, then I declare Jason elected to the chair position for lack of nominations. So, all right, I'll let you take over and we'll just do a quick spot swatch. And
Thank you, everybody.
You feel more powerful
Front and
now?
center now. huh?
So
there you go.
Oh, how exciting. So, all right. So now we have to go through and thank you all for your support. So I'm looking forward to this new role and continuing on with the progress that we've made. So thank you. So the election of the vice chair. So the nominations are now in order for the office of vice chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair?
Lynn, would you
Yeah, I
like to
guess I
take the
would
position
nominate
again?
Lynn if you're.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay. I'll nominate Lynn.
Are there further nominations? Any further nominations? Hearing none, I declare nominations closed. So since Lynn was the only one nominated, I declare Lynn elected vice chair for lack of other nominations. And now we'll proceed to what's next on the list? Treasurer.
Treasurer.
So, are there any nominations for the position of treasurer?
Can we just kind of ask if there's anyone who's
Interested?
interested in this? I'd hate to nominate somebody who doesn't want to be because of the.
So let's talk about the responsibilities of the position quickly. So
Yeah, so what I have done, and it doesn't have to be that way, I mean, you can work with Beth, but usually the bills would come out towards the end of the week, depending upon what's going, Thursday, Friday. And then I would come in over the weekend and then just it'd be like an hour to 2, maybe, depending upon the volume of bills, but you could do it, an evening. I think Beth likes to have it a little bit ahead of time, so she's got questions answered, because usually what I would do is just email her some questions, and then she'd try and get that to me ahead of the meeting on Monday. So there may be opportunity to do it earlier or during the day, but I'm not sure how much earlier. You'd have to talk to Beth, so.
So I don't know if it's the three of you. Oh, you're clerk right now.
Yeah.
So I would say the two of you if you're, unless you want to switch.
I will do it if you feel you don't want to, but if you want to.
I think you'd be great.
That's hasn't happened in 3 years. I avoided this whole. I just
Yeah,
skated around this. All right, awesome. If I am the guy, I will take that responsibility and make it happen. But I can find time with Beth and figure it out when it
Yeah.
is. It doesn't have to be.
And you could do it, I think Kara did it before the meetings, but as long as there wasn't any, research type questions that came up, I think that could work too.
And you did it for the meetings when you first started doing it.
Yeah, I did it before, and then it just,
Sometimes
it
it's not
was
enough
tough for
time.
me to rush here and get that going if I had stuff going on, so.
Okay, so I'll nominate Shannon. Is that what I have to
Okay.
do?
Mhm.
Yep. So Shannon has been nominated for the position of treasurer. Are there any further nominations? Any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, I declare nominations closed. I declare Shannon elected treasurer for lack of other nominations. Next, we will elect clerk.
Nominate Sunny.
Yep.
Are
Okay.
you okay with continuing in that position?
Okay.
Yep.
Sunny has been nominated for the position of clerk. Are there any further nominations?
Wait, who nominated?
Any further nominations?
You sure you want me to do this? That's a lot of questions.
Any further
3
nominations?
minutes.
Hearing none, I declare nominations closed. I declare Sunny elected treasurer, clerk, sorry, for lack of nominations. Let's see, so then I think that's it, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. So then moving on, the next item of business would be committee assignments. So we all have assignments, and then this would be an opportunity for us to potentially change if we have some other interests, or continue on with the same committees that we've been on, so.
I'm fine with mine, but I guess I would ask, because I know the negotiation one is way more involved. Are you all okay with staying on it?
Well, this is a good year to be on negotiations because
Yeah.
we finished them all last
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh.
So then you deserve to be on it yet then, so we'll just leave it, unless,
Yeah.
unless you don't, want to.
No,
I would,
No, I'm fine.
I would
it's
say
fine.
that.
The only question, I think, was the teaching and learning. It had 2 people, but there's 3 people, and I didn't know if that was,
I think, wasn't it because Jennifer, you
Jennifer
stayed
was
on
on
it
as
as
a
a
parent.
parent.
I was on as a parent
So-
previous to ever being on the board, so I think I just stayed on as a parent.
Mhm.
so I sure could go off of that with the chair responsibilities, if that's okay with people.
Sure. Are there any other committees that people would? I'm fine with mine.
I'm fine with mine.
Same with me.
Mhm.
I'm good with
Mine,
mine.
some of them didn't actually meet last year.
And I feel like we did a kind of a big rotation and switch last year, and so
Mhm.
some of them
Yeah.
are just kind of starting to get.
Yeah, there's a number of initiatives that are going on that I don't know now would be a good time to exit the committees that I'm on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, other than having extra on that one and stepping back, I'm fine.
So the only change, Jason, is just you're not gonna be on the teaching and learning one,
Correct.
Yeah.
okay?
Is that okay, if being the
Yeah.
chair that I'm not on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The 5th Monday did not meet last year, but we're gonna keep that on as a committee just in case it comes back up, okay?
Okay.
So we will, get that fixed and then email out a new copy.
Fair.
Okay, so then the next item is the board meeting format. just says, custom is to have discussion about the format during organizational sessions. So is there any issues regarding our format that we need to modify, that people have concerns or questions on?
No concerns from me.
Continuing on as structured, okay. Item 4, board in-service needs, just to make sure that people are aware that we're very supportive of continuing on to enhance your background and knowledge of any of maybe the officer assignments or just being a board member, so they have MSBA classes. I think some of us have done the phase 1 and 2, and there might be some phase 3, 4 that's opportunities, and also some officer training coming up. So I think officers haven't changed, so if you've already been to some of that training, then other than me taking the chair, and I'm interested in looking at that. Oh, yes, I guess you did. So maybe. If
When is
you're- we don't have dates yet, but it'll probably be some weekend in February, so I'll keep you posted.
It'll just depend on what the kids,
Yeah.
what their activities are and stuff.
So,
And then also, don't forget that we have the MSBA Leadership Conferences, January 16th, 17th, and there's Jason and Lynn are attending this year. Again, it's a great opportunity in the future. I don't know the dates for the next year, but keep that in
They're
mind.
always about the same weekend.
It is, yep, it's usually
Or
this.
week.
any further questions on in-service needs? Okay. Item 5, board members per diem rate for fiscal year 21 or 2021. So it just talks about the current rates for being a board member. It's been recommended, I think at a work session we had discussion about that the state had offered, I think 2%, and that would be a appropriate kind of adjustment based upon previous discussions. So I think today we had made that amount or adjustment there. I can say effective July 1st of 2020. So right now the amount would change. It'd be for next fiscal year. The chair would be $305 per month. The treasurer $280. Board negotiator is $1,400 and $255 for all other members. So approximately a 2% change, and that's been developed for the 21 preliminary budget, fiscal year 21.
I know at one point we talked about looking at something when we had all-day meetings and people needed to take off work, and we never really went anyplace with that. Is that something that we still would like to look at? Because I know it is hard for people who have to take a day off from their job when we have an all-day session of some type.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah.
We've
I
talked
don't know.
about this a lot, but it's always like messy.
Yeah, I know.
That was the problem. Is
It's
how
not
do you
clean like this.
Right.
what is all day and making sure it gets into payroll, and it's a lot of extra work from the office, and then that's wasteful. I don't know.
It's just,
kind of
you know, we've talked about making sure, and maybe not so much for the present board members, but as, you know, other people look at running for the board, people that are on board now probably have paid time off and can take paid time off from their other job to come to an all-day session. If we'd have someone who'd be running who is in a position where they don't have that option, it might make it really hard for somebody to be a part of the board. So if we could, maybe we can do some research and check with what other boards do, if it's something that might be problematic.
Yeah. I think it's good to just keep it as a discussion point going forward, just so that we're not having to make a big significant change in the future. I think trying to stick with what is being given similarly across the state is best practice, but we don't know who the next board members will be and what their circumstances will be, so just, I guess, taking that into consideration. So.
Just want to make sure that the financial issue with being on a board isn't gonna keep people from choosing to run for school board.
So.
I'll make a motion to
yes.
approve the new per diem.
Okay, Sunny made a motion for,
A second.
and Jennifer second for the new per diem rates. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, against? The motion passes. So, for the new per diem rates as proposed. School board meeting schedule. I think that is, what page is that on the board book? Page 13.
I did have a couple questions on that.
Sure.
I don't have an issue with any of the dates. I just wanted to bring to attention that there are some school board meeting dates where there's not school in session that day. And I don't know if that matters or doesn't. One of which is March 16th. There's no students that day.
Okay.
And I had a question too regarding March. The two dates on here are the 3rd and the 5th Mondays. And so why wouldn't we try to keep March the 2nd and the 4th like our
Correct.
typical monthly meeting schedule?
Yeah, I
And
don't
then
know.
April 13th
Is there
is also
any-
a
Yeah,
no-school
April
day.
13th
I
is
think
the other
I think
one.
it was
There's no school.
arbitrary. Like the March and the March ones, they were probably shifted just to try to space it out more. But I think keeping it the 2nd and the 4th is a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
I do too. I
is-
think when possible, when we do have two meetings, we should try to keep it as consistent as possible for the community to know when those meetings are.
The other issue is if there is a 5th Monday meeting ever, that would,
That would
Oh,
fall
yeah,
on that
yeah.
day.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like it if we could move the March meetings. I have a personal conflict with one of them because I had planned around a 2nd and 4th.
Okay.
Okay.
And then April 13th is another no school day. Again, I don't know that it matters. I just caught that too. And then I just had a question in September regarding homecoming. I don't know if we know when that is, but
We
that's
do,
been.
we're avoiding that.
Okay.
It's the
So we
21st
did-
is the,
would be the Monday.
is the Monday of the
Okay.
variety show.
Okay.
Okay.
So do we need a motion to amend
Let's, I think
this,
we need some more discussion here, because I didn't quite get all this, so.
Okay.
So the reason why we went from, in the change in March is because February 24th to March 9th
9th.
is short. It's 2 weeks.
But so is,
Okay, so
so
how
is
is
it
that
from the
different than
2nd
every
to the
other-
4th every month?
True story. So what dates were you thinking in March?
The
Like just our
9th?
normal 2nd and
2nd and
4th
4th, which would be
Monday.
the 9th.
And the 23rd?
Correct.
Jason, you and I are gonna have to plan on March, 9th. I'll have to meet with you on the agenda on the 17th or 18th. I'm not in the office on the 19th and 20th, so.
Another item too was the dates that we had set aside for potential all-day planning. I believe there was one of these dates was
March
that as
30th
well.
is the,
Correct,
March 30th is the date that I'm working with our consultant to meet with the board and administrative team that evening. So we're hoping to conduct a board meeting and that session at the same time. That is why the 16th and the 30th were brought forward.
Okay. Oh.
Because then, because now we're looking at 3 meetings in the month of March.
Say that, miss.
Or could we
Say
do
that
the
last
March-
part. There's what other meeting is it?
On the 30th, we are meeting with with our consultant, and they'll have all the information from the survey for our strategic plan. And so when that was the best date that worked, that's why we picked the 30th of March, and then we went backwards 2 weeks to the 16th. so that you didn't have 3 meetings that month, the month of March, rather than 2. So I should explain that a little bit more.
So March 16th, though, we don't have school, and if there is a break in between the activities, I mean, how many of us, I'm not planning on being gone, but it
Right.
sounds like you, Jen, are probably.
I'm gone on the 16th, yeah.
I might be.
So that would be my only other concern is, if we would ever to be gone as a family, it would probably be then, because that would be the only
Agreed.
time between basketball or track. And,
Which is why we're going that week.
right, and there's a day that you're not gonna miss school, so
March
unfortunately,
16th.
yeah, I would say
16th.
we should probably just stay away from that day.
So do you want to keep the 30th and then move the March 16th to the March 9th?
Mhm.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. March 9th and 30.
Yep,
That
yep.
makes sense.
And then what about the 13th of April? Is that fine that there's no school? Is that another,
That's the day after.
because that's Easter.
Oh, it's Easter.
Easter
Monday.
That's the Monday after
Monday.
Easter.
Can we just drop it? Is April a busy time?
It's budgeting,
Budget.
It
Yeah.
is budget and potential having to have
any layoffs.
any layoffs prior
Oh,
to
yeah.
the 15th.
But we have school the next day. I mean, I guess I wouldn't, unless somebody knows they're gonna be gone. my guess
It's not an
is-
issue or just a point of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just
I don't have
marked
an
it
issue
too
with
because
I would
knew
be,
it was not a
I
school
think
day.
that day is less invasive just because everybody probably is coming
Coming
back.
back.
in town.
Okay, yeah. That's fair.
That's fine.
Alright, so I move to adopt the schedule as listed with the exception of changing the March 16th meeting to March 9th.
Kara has amended the schedule or the calendar for the March 16th meeting. Otherwise, all other dates remain the same. Any other?
Just
I'll
one
second.
question about the November meeting. There's only one listed. Usually we have to approve the bills so they can be paid. Will that work, just having a November 9th?
So November 9th, we need to canvass the elections.
Election.
We only had one meeting in November this month and
Mhm.
this year, and it worked out. There is some concern of the earliness of that bill, of that thing, of that date, so we may have to add we may have to add a meeting, but we can do that in September if we have to.
Okay.
That's a good point, though. That's good clarification there, Lynn, but
I will second the motion.
Okay. Motion by Kara, second by Sunny. Any further discussion on modifications to the schedule? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So now we have organizational consent items. So if we could have a motion to approve that.
I move to
Consent.
approve the organizational consent
Second
items.
by Kara, second by Lynn. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so that takes us to number 5, correct comments and requests from visitors. Do we have any visitors? No. Okay, thank you. And then now the consent items of just the regular business consent.
they just wanted one correction. The minutes were submitted by Jennifer, not Sunny on that day, so we'll have to correct that. But just one correction.
Okay, one correction. Okay. So that will amend the minutes to be approved with Jennifer's review. Okay. Any further items on that? Could we get a motion to
Motion
approve?
to approve.
Motion by Lynn. Second, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action items. Okay, contract with board member. So we need to pass a resolution to allow the relationship between Lynn and Cold Spring Bakery and her board membership. So let's see, what page is that on? We have to. Okay, and that's what, 2025. Okay. So, someone like to make, it has to be a motion?
It's a resolution, yeah.
But motion for the resolution?
Okay, I move to adopt the resolution to do contract with a board member.
Okay, motion by Kara for the resolution,
Second.
second by Shannon. Any further discussion? Okay, that'll be a roll call vote. Shannon?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Jennifer?
abstain.
Lynn? Aye.
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 Resolution approved. Okay. And item B, long-term facility maintenance update for the 2020 roofing project bids, and just maybe some background on the monies from our bonding that we did and how that fits into the roofing project. So,
Board, I've invited Brent Neisinger here tonight. Brent has been leading the charge on this project, and so Brent and I will go back and forth when he needs my help and I need his.
Yeah, I think in your board packet, you should have the recommendation from Garland as well as the bid tallies. So that would be the starting point, so.
okay. Do we want to do a motion to approve the bids, or do we want to have a discussion about any background questions first before we do that?
Do the board members have any questions? I think that
Yeah.
some discussion, questions. would be-
Yeah, can you just give us an overview on the project?
Yeah, for sure. I only have the original here, but
Sure.
as far as roofing, we're looking at 2 sections on Richmond Elementary,
Okay.
2 sections on John Clark Elementary, 1 section on the district education facility, and 6 sections on the high school that we'll be doing this summer. So, very attractive package for bidding purposes. Package that's so large, so we got very favorable numbers back. So we're really excited about that.
Good.
And is there any scheduling changes that may need to occur?
Not with this project, no. Richmond might be interesting this summer with doing some roofing and indoor air quality updates there, so that'll be an interesting schedule. So we're still thinking we will get everything done inside of the summer. So
Okay.
we might have to ask for a couple exceptions with Ms. Johnson to move around in the building a little early and maybe stay a little late with certain things. But
Was there any concern that the next closest one was 140,000?
I personally have no concern with it. They're both roofing contractors that are local to us, and to my understanding, they compete quite well on our jobs.
McDowell's done projects here before.
No, yeah, I've seen them around. I'm just,
Yeah, my understanding is we bounce back and forth typically with Granite City and McDowell. So
It's probably a labor delta, isn't it?
I would absolutely agree.
Yeah, because I've seen as much as like an 18% difference between exact same materials and just labor. It's- Yeah.
Great benefit to a local company to have their employees stay local.
Yeah.
So just a brief overview. This is a $1.43 million bid of some of the money that we bonded
Yep.
for some of these long-term maintenance things. So, which will leave us how much money for what are the major projects that are remaining?
I got to think of what exactly the numbers were. The roofing and the indoor air quality updates, and some auxiliary parking lot pavement issues, as well as potentially touching some indoor air quality stuff at the high school. Was I think that was $3.7 million was our original. My 2 big projects in there are Richmond's indoor air quality and this roofing project. So when I get the final numbers for those, I'm going to take what's left, and then indoor air quality is going to be my first objective in this building, and then see what's left after that. Then we'll work on smaller parking lots, getting some of the pavement and stuff up to par. The other big part of that project was the $800,000 abatement bond for the south parking lot. So we have not received numbers on the indoor air quality for Richmond yet. They'll come in on January 14th, I think it is. We have bid opening. And then we're still putting together plans and specs for the parking lot. So everything's coming along nice.
So that air quality would be for next summer too, or in Richmond potentially?
It'd be tough to get it this summer.
Okay.
With
Oh.
Richmond will be this summer.
This summer.
Yep.
Richmond will be this summer, but the high school will be.
Additional things, pending the financial part of it, would probably be the summer after.
Okay.
Or depending on what it is, some of it is just putting the 8 coils into the unit. The unit's already here, they're already set up. We just have to put the air conditioning part into the existing unit. So some of it we might be able to do over Christmas breaks or spring break or something like that, so.
Okay. All right.
I'm hoping at least.
Any further questions on the roofing bid or?
Make a motion to approve the bid to McDowell.
Motion by Lynn to approve the McDowell Company bid for roofing.
Second.
Second by Sunny. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Brent.
Appreciate the
Thank
information.
you.
Okay, and then administrative board reports. So board and committee representatives, so.
I can go first. A technology committee met just this last Friday on the 3rd. And our agenda was, we talked a little bit about the Bright Bite survey, mixed reviews on that, but the sort of consensus was that, you know, we've gotten a lot of good information over the years and the information seems to be consistent. So not sure that we're gonna renew that and continue to engage in it at this time, so. Also talked about one-to-one planning, sort of what the breakdown of devices are between staff and students, what the rotation might be, grade levels, how we're gonna start, and then again, professional development being really key with that initiative. And then we also talked about Mr. Jensen brought forth a pretty innovative idea about using Microsoft Translator and potentially piloting that in some of the classrooms. It's really for verbal instruction and for our ESL students. And so that was something that I think was kind of a new idea that was presented, and we may try that in a few classrooms and report back, hopefully that it's successful. So policy didn't meet. I don't even report on that
Yeah.
actually. I didn't have anything else.
Policy did not meet, and we are not meeting this Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. I'll take that off my calendar.
Okay, Carol?
My committees have not met. ECFE is meeting this Wednesday, so.
Okay. Sunny?
Tell me what I report on.
School assignment, transportation, teaching and learning?
None have met.
None. Shannon?
Oh,
Facilities
there's a
and
Boost Club
grounds?
meeter tonight. You may or may not stop at that. And then facilities, we have one that we doodle polled here coming up, right? Or in February.
February, yep.
That's it.
Okay. Lynn?
My committees have not met. C is coming up the
1st is that, Lynn?
not this Friday, the following Friday, and I actually will be out of town that day, so if anybody's interested in going to the C meeting in my place,
That's on the 24th, I'm sorry, the 24th.
Okay.
down in the cities, and it'll be kind of a update on what's gonna happen at the legislature.
And then Benton Stearns, I was not able to make it to that meeting.
wasn't either.
Okay, so, but I do know that the meeting for January has been changed to I think the 22nd, because the meeting was scheduled for the 16th, which is the Wednesday before MSBA conference down in the city, so there are gonna be a lot of people down to that already, so they moved it a week later. So, and then policy we already talked about, so. Superintendent report.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Kara.
yeah. This is just the evaluation timeline. This is the process we use for doing the superintendent evaluation. And it's heavily formed off of the MSBA requirements.
The email that you just sent, was that a follow-up to the one that was sent before?
Yeah.
Okay, because
So-
I quickly completed it because
Oh.
I thought it had to be completed before the last meeting, I
It did,
think.
but we didn't have full participation.
And you were ill.
Right, so I don't know. I
Did
mean,
you want?
No, I mean, if I would have had more time to put into it, I maybe would have, but I'll just tell you when we meet.
Okay. So when I went to go collect the results, we didn't have full participation, so we decided to postpone it. But this is about the process.
Yeah.
And so this is talking about, this at the January, meeting, we just review the process and make sure we're okay with it. So. Is everybody okay with it?
Yeah. Any-
And then our process again is deviating because we'll wait till next week. Next meeting because we didn't want to put it in an organizational meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Brad, your
Superintendent report?
Yep.
Okay. So you saw the monthly report enrollment. We gained 3 students, so our enrollment is hanging in there, and that's really good news. I do want to make the board aware that we are having parent sessions on our calendar process. So our high school, middle school admin team is meeting with parents on the 13th of January at 6 o'clock. John Clark, Mr. Court, is having a donuts or coffee in the morning and juice in the afternoon on the 9th. CSE is doing a meeting with parents on the 14th of January at 6 o'clock. Richmond is having a parent meeting on January 9th at 6 o'clock. And the DEF, Stephanie's having a parent advisory council meeting on the 8th, in which she's invited parents to that as well. So all of the buildings are getting together with their parents who want to come and voice their wishes on our calendar process and ideas. They can do that. We also did send a WooFoo link, which is a survey to parents through the newsletters, of which we've had 200 responses to that survey on ideas on building the calendar. So we're putting this all together.
How are you gonna get, so those building meetings, you know, how is that information gonna be put together and then put into something that's actually usable for us ultimately to decide what we actually heard?
Sure. So all of that we're hoping to have put together in like a spreadsheet form with like tallies and those types of things for the 15th meeting with staff after school. So we're hoping to have that ready. Of course, with the meeting on the 14th, it might be a little tough, but that's the original plan.
So very objective questions. and
They're
tallies,
very
you know?
objective questions.
Okay. Similar to, because I did look at the survey, so similar to that
Yep.
is what's going to be asked of the staff at these meetings. I mean, do
Yes.
you want 2 weeks off?
No, it's going to be asked of the
the
parents.
parents.
Parents. Okay, what about at these, I was more talking about like at these staff gatherings for input. I mean, how do you?
So I'm sorry, did I say staff gatherings? I meant,
Well,
these are parent
Okay,
gatherings.
at these places, okay. You probably didn't. but
Staff
I
are
was-
already at the meetings for the January, I mean, they've been at the calendar committee meetings, and I'm assuming that they're talking to each other. I haven't surveyed the staff specifically, but they all see the same links so they could put their input that way.
I just
But-
want to make sure that we don't get a staff member come to us and say, well, I didn't really have it, I didn't work, I talked about it, but did anybody really listen to us because all these other people said this? I just want to make sure that, if there is a direct message that we're getting from our staff, from the elementary staff versus different than the high school staff, that we're able to understand what their concerns are too.
Sure. Well, trust me, I'm sure we'll have this, let's say there's 300 staff, we're gonna have 300 different
Yeah, well,
opinions.
and then that means that we have to do the best we can.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I just want to make sure that if there is a common theme, that we're made aware of it, so that we don't get, somebody doesn't come after the fact and
Oh,
say,
sure.
and it's easy for us to say, well, no, it might have just been you. You can't create this. It was all of us or everybody, because we get a lot of that where, well, everybody thought it was, this is what you were going to do. Well, if it was everybody, then we would need to know if it was everybody.
So the plan is to put the data together, discuss it, put it back out, bring it to you, let you look at it, hopefully have some options, okay, that will meet the majority of the needs, and then have you make a good decision.
And there's some stuff about conferences too,
Yep.
right?
We wanna know how people are feeling about
I mean, it was a
conferences.
very, very
Yeah.
short 5-question survey.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe it was a couple more, but it took me all of like, not very long. to
Yeah, it
complete.
was pretty easy to fill.
Well, then that's one of the things people want. They want something easy, but they had a chance to type in what they were thinking.
Except that there was one confusing part at the beginning of the at the beginning of the survey. It asked for you to enter your child's location, but it was really your name field.
Oh. Huh.
And then the
Gosh.
second, and then right below that it said, what location does your child attend?
Ouch, because we all looked at it and signed off on it and thought so we all missed it, that there was something.
It definitely did do that, but I just figured.
I mean, I
it was
just
yeah,
put my name in.
You figured it out.
Oh,
but-
okay.
Yeah,
But it was backwards in what it was asking.
or
Okay.
it just had the same header in both sections, I think, is what it might have been. I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. But yeah, so that's the idea, is gather input, get it together, and then use the data to make a good decision. Again, there's only so many things you can do within a calendar, because you have to meet so many
Right.
requirements.
No, absolutely. I want to make sure that every staff member that has ever said to me, I wish I had a place to say something about it, that they're very crystal clear on where their opportunity
Okay.
is. And I'm guessing that has been thrown out there to them.
Again, because our calendar committee that we have, that has not been in existence for a while, it was from members from each building, and so that they are supposed to give their input to their building members. So that every staff member should have a place that they went to have input.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I have.
Question, I know there was a message that came out about busing changes.
Yes.
How
Yep.
did that go, and
We're still working on it. We're still struggling to get our bus back over to Rockville in time for breakfast.
okay.
We have not got much for a break. Again, it's something that was 5 minutes new for those first 2 days in January, and then of course today we had roads that were horrible, to say the least. 2 and 50 were both miserable. And 23 was no gym in the morning before the sun came out and the
Yep,
warm
after
came.
sun
So
came out, it was fine, but, yeah.
buses were going 40, 45 miles an hour today, and rightfully so, because we want them to be safe. So we're working on it.
Anything else for Brad?
Have you heard any feedback from parents, teachers regarding the snow day? Or how it went, how parents thought it went, how students thought it went, how teachers thought it went?
Yeah,
But,
we've had,
Not snow day, whatever.
yeah.
Flexible learning.
You mean the flexible learning day?
Mhm.
Yeah, we had some good feedback. It was pretty well received at the elementary. We had some, because that's all based off of the board book, or the board game, not the games, but the boards that went out to them. We had some technical issues at the 612. Mark got some good feedback, and we went back and we're working on fixing those. So, but overall, we got a pretty good response. I don't think I got one complaint from a parent.
And I think there was unique challenges in that it was the last day of the semester
Right.
too,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
for real.
probably going to happen never again for another 30 years.
Right.
But because I know the next day back was a little bit confusing for kids because
Again, the
schedule, but it worked out.
Yeah, the
really
high
well.
school made a good adjustment.
Yeah.
They did shortened classes for the 612 building went short classes, then finished up trimester 1, and then went into trimester 2 short classes to get us started. So, Nate and Mark and Jake did a nice job
Yeah.
of getting on the fly there to get that done.
And if there needs to be standardized for future reference, I mean, I'm sure now that you've got it all set up. you can-
And teachers have all sent out, at least at the elementary, they've all sent out the second board. So if we have another day, it's going to be more what we're doing, closer to what we're doing now in classrooms. And so that's a really nice deal too. They won't be doing things that happened that should have been happening in November, December. Now we're doing things that happened in January, February. So,
And this time the kindergartners didn't do them ahead of time yet?
and this time the kindergartners did not do them ahead of time. Yeah. So again, a great learning experience.
Anything else for Brad? Okay.
Well, I have one other thing.
Oh, sure.
January 27th meeting, I've invited Brian here to talk about the technology one-to-one, where we've been, what we're doing now, and where we're going. So you'll have more of an update on that one-to-one initiative. So do you want that during the regular meeting, or do you want that during the work session?
Might work better during the work session, so we can ask more questions and
Okay.
have more of a discussion.
Because we're not to any level where we're ready to make any decisions, but I just want you to be a little more informed of where we are. I mean, Jennifer's doing a great job of giving us the high level
High-level
details.
updates, yeah.
But there's some more. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for Brad? Going once, twice. Upcoming events and activities. It looks like policy committee is canceled, and then the MSBA conference 16th to 17th. C committee. If someone can make that for Lynn, I'm sure she'd appreciate that if possible.
I mean, it's always interesting to go to hear, so if anybody has time to go, it'd be a way to find out what the legislature's got planned for us, because they usually give us updates at that one.
And then we should have another meeting on the 27th, so we should be good to that point. All right, and otherwise, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sunny,
Second.
second by Jennifer. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.